It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
A great day to talk hockey. The men's Olympic hockey tournament gets started tomorrow. We're going to see Slav against Cappy, although I'm not too happy about Cappy. I guess he's not going to be playing regular, at least. They can dress extra, right? So he'll probably be dressed, but you look at what the projected lines are based on practices, and usually that gives you a pretty good idea. Cappy's not in the top 12 here. Got Ratnan with Hintz and Granlund, Artie Lehkonen with Aho, Teravainen, Listerine with Lundell and Kakko, Tolvanen with Halla and Armia. Now, hey, I get it. Like, Oliver's the youngest one, and you got to sort of give it to the guys that have been there before, I suppose. But I mean, Kakko, I don't know. I would consider, there'll probably be a player or two that struggles, and he'll get some time in the top 12. I figure. I think he'll impress over there and get some playing time. But hey, regardless, I mean, Cappy needs to kind of rest anyways, and maybe him not playing a lot won't be a terrible thing if that's the case. Either way, it's going to be a great experience for him. He'll get to experience the Olympics, experience being with all the best Finnish players, and it'll be a thrill for him. And I hope at the end of the day, he enjoys his experience. But Slav, I mean, you look at that Finnish lineup, and you compare the Slovakians. There's not a, I can't give them much of a chance against. That's a pretty impressive group. And then you put Lundell and Heiskanen out there 30 minutes a night and just, see you later. They're gonna be tough. But Canada lost today 5-0 to the Americans. I've never seen Canada get the Canadian women get smoked like that before. It wasn't even close. Yes, Captain Canada Poulin was not playing, but certainly that wasn't gonna make 5 goals difference. As good as she is. But you know what? I've seen this. Like you can say, oh well, they're done. But I've seen teams get blown out before. Look how horrible. And when the game's on the line, if the goaltending's good and they come up, fix what's ailing them. Better to get it out of the way now. And sometimes when you play like a stinker like that, it's good because the coaches can, get in the video room and say, look, we got to do this. We have to tighten this up, this, that. One of the goals, I don't know, I thought, and it could have been the turning point in the game too, right? Sure looked like she interfered with the goalie there and pushed it in. And then Canada, of course, loses the challenge, and so they go to, the U.S. goes in a power play after as well. But not that it would have made any difference in the final score. The U.S. clearly outclassed the Canadians. We had a great Montreal Canadiens had a great defenseman named Harvey at one point, and it looks like the U.S. Women's team has a great defenseman named Harvey now. She was the best player on the ice as far as I was concerned. A real standout both ends of the ice. So right now, the U.S. had their number last year, and they just look like the better team right now. But we've seen, the Canadian women have a way of coming up big at the Olympics, and playing their best when it matters, and I'm not counting them out yet. I expect Poulin to be back certainly by the medal round, and we'll see. But hopefully, certainly if it they end up playing the Americans again in the medal round, I don't expect it to be a 5-goal spread like it was today. So that was disappointing. But again, the game was not that meaningful, and I'm excited for the men's for the men to get at it starting tomorrow. Finland, Slovakia. I'll enjoy watching that. I'm anxious. I mean, the last time Slav played in the Olympics, it was his coming out party, right? So I have a feeling whenever he wears that Slovakian jersey, he there's a little extra pep in his step, and I would suspect that we'll see a pretty good performance from Slav tomorrow and throughout the tournament, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a video here on Alex Zharovsky. I had a look at his last game, and some concerns are creeping in about him away from the puck, especially when it comes to his competitiveness, and a little bit of concern about his skating and the lack of progress we've seen since the start of the year in all three categories. You like to see, especially a kid that's 18 years of age, to be making progress in those, in all three of those facets as the season goes along. And if anything, certainly in when it comes to his defensive game and his effort, right now there looks to have been a regression. So it's raising a little bit of concern with me. Now, mind you, this was one game, and I haven't seen it constantly in the past month. Although I have to say that I think he played better earlier in the year than he has in the last month. And certainly he's played better than he did in that last game. Now, I don't know if the bright lights of the All-Star game were, he thought, well, I'm an All-Star now and I don't have to work or whatever. But I'm going to show you the notable plays from the game, both good and bad. And unfortunately, there were certainly more bad than I saw in the Reinbacher game the other night. But, well, I guess that's why Reinbacher was the top 5 pick and Zeroski went in the second round. But I'm not, I'm by no means saying, writing this guy off in any way, shape, or form. Just that the concerns that I had last year in his game, and the reason why while I ranked him 24th overall, which was still a fair bit higher than where he went, I didn't rank him top 15 or top 20 because of those concerns and because of the, questions about his floor, right? I said it all last year, and I still maintain it. He's got top 10 upside from the draft, but his floor more like second round floor wise. So you kind of, you even those two things out, and you don't at this point, for me, he still looks like a top 20. Like if you were doing a redraft, yeah, top 20 because you bank on the upside, but I don't think we should expect him to be playing on the Canadiens at any point next year, and probably not the year after. and I'll explain it as I show you this video. He had an assist in this game. This was on February 2nd, before the All-Star game. So, I mean, with the puck, you still like a lot of things about his game. Although, in this game, he had nine giveaways. And he's got 39 in his last 7 games. So, that was one of the things I didn't like last year, that he overhandled at times. And that was at junior level. And now some bad habits have snuck back into his game that I saw on occasion last year. But let's keep having a look here. I'm not seeing a lot of urgency in his play away from the puck, and his battles are pretty. He's certainly not battling hard right now, and earlier in the year that wasn't the case. Here, of course, here you see another, the hands, right? He makes he can make slick plays with his hands. Here he gets the puck, kept it in, good play by him. So it's not like you'll ever watch a game and not see good things, but there was an example there. Like, what was that? The flyby with no real effort, when he lost the puck. Here he is on the forecheck. I mean, yeah, wasn't horrible, but there he didn't hit the guy along the boards, but he at least hit the guy at center ice. He's registered 12 hits so far this year, so don't be expecting much physicality from him, like about a hit every 4 games or so. And look at this. Like, what is that? I thought the whistle had gone. Just back that up a bit and just like, what is this? That right there. Like, that's just, he's not a Demidov clone, folks. I'll say it right now. Demidov will way more compete at the same age. I mean, not even close. And so anyone that, I know Bob Hartley said Demidov clone, but that's just, that's too easy. He's got some offensive upside like Demidov, but nowhere near the competitive spirit of Ivan Demidov. Demidov was a puck hound every time I saw him over the last 3 years. So that's a huge difference in their games, and a better skater. A lot more explosive, a lot better edges. Here he gets it out. And then the flyby again. I don't know. There's just that's not a player that's going to be playing like Demidov at the end of his contract in May of or April or March or whatever it was for Demidov, and then played at the end of the year for the Habs. That's not going to be happening with Zeroski next year, I don't think. We'd have to see quite a progression, and that's fine. Just, I know people are excited about him, and I am too, but I just, caution folks to not be, just like with Reinbacher, you may have to be patient with him. And don't, if he's in the AHL in 2 years and not getting called up, don't panic. I mean, he was a 2nd round pick, right? Friggin' Owen Beck still, it was a early 2nd round pick, just like him, and he's still in the AHL. So, and there was a goal against where, again, he wasn't great. Here he is with the puck. You like him on the man advantage. Although in this game, he 5-on-5, he was just okay. There's ended up with a secondary assist in this game here. Here he is trying to do I don't know. But look where he is. Like he hung back and he's way out of the play. Here he comes in. So I didn't like the effort on the back check too much in this game. It was pretty not what I saw earlier in the year. Now I don't know if he's a bit complacent right now. I hope it's not just coincidence that since Kuznetsov, the lazy bastard, has joined them, now it's rubbing off on others, or I would hope not, but I know Kuznetsov last year, he was a dog away from the puck. And here he is. Look at, again, like he should have been on his high horse coming back there, but he just kind of lays back. And now look where he is. Yeah, okay. He gets a breakaway here, but why? Because he was freaking 2 lines behind the play. Like if he, just going to pause here for a sec. Like we see highlights, right? Now, if he'd have scored on that breakaway, people would say, oh, like that's all people see normally are the nice plays. But, you just got to see there. The reason why he got a breakaway is because he was way out of the play and not coming back with any effort. So, he didn't score. You won't see that on the highlights, but that to me was a low light. That yeah, he got a breakaway, but it was because he was being lazy. And again, it's just another example of why I think he's going to need at least a year of seasoning in the AHL after next year is last year in the KHL. Let's keep her rolling here. Oops, sorry about that. There again, lost that. That's another example of where he lost the puck. 9 giveaways in this game, and averaging 5.5 over last 7 games, where he's been on the ice for 6 goals against. There was a little bit of better effort on the back check, but still not moving his feet too much. I saw a couple of shifts where it looked like, oh, well, he's not coming back. I guess he's dog tired. But when it turned around going the other way, all of a sudden he had lots of jump. So, again, those are little things that bother me when I see it in a prospect. And at the NHL level, it's not accepted. There he iced the puck. Here he kind of just threw it away. But anyway, that was his last game. And hey, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I did not like how he played. And I think there's been, for whatever reason, his game isn't, it does not look as good as it did at the start of the year right now. I don't know if he's a bit tired. We have to keep in mind too, he played 1 year in the MHL, right? It's like it's almost a similar path to like Logan Mailloux, where Mailloux only played 100 OHL games, and people are, well, he's why isn't he ready? Well, because he just doesn't have a good competition. He doesn't have that much experience. Like 2 years ago, he was in the NMHL, which is basically tier two junior around here. And then 1 year in the MHL, ended the year in the K, playing in the K this year now. Not seeing a lot of progression from what I saw in the fall, but hey, he's setting records for his age group, albeit in a not a very strong division, but he still gets to play against the other division on occasion, and he's put up some points there too. He's not on a really strong team, so he gets more opportunity than perhaps, like if he was playing on, say, Ska this year, he wouldn't be, he'd probably be third, fourth line, and maybe even sit out some games. But being on a team that's not that strong, he gets more opportunity, and he's made the most of it. Again, I think top 10 skill from his draft class, and that's great, and that's why the Canadiens moved up and took him at the start of the second round. And that's never an unwise thing to do. Go for talent, add that to your team. But do I think that he's somebody that should never be considered to be traded? I don't know about that. Like, there's questions about just how competitive he's going to be. How much stronger is he going to get? How much better is his skating going to be? He doesn't look like he's going to play a physical style. So do the Canadiens need another one of those? Will they, is that a must in their lineup down the road? It could be if the skill is just so good that you just have to, he puts up 80 plus points in the NHL. You just wonder whether he'll get that, unless there's a lot of improvement in his play away from the puck and his effort, and not overhandling it and turning over the puck constantly. He won't play it in the top six for quite a while. So he'll need some North American seasoning, I'm pretty sure. At least a year, maybe two. It might, don't be surprised if I've said it before, and I think it still holds true that he's kind of a cross between Del Bel Belluz and Beckett Seneca. Not as good as Seneca. Won't be playing in the NHL at 19 years of age, and a step up from Del Bel Belluz, who, I'm going to pull up his, just to give you an idea here. He'll be 23 in November, Del Bel Belluz, but he's still, he's still kind of a tweener there. He's still got to work on his skating a bit, still got to get a little stronger, still got to learn to compete away from the puck a little better. But when he's down in the AHL, he's this year he's a point per game guy, 33 games, 37, 61, 53. Those are really good stats for a 22-year-old playing in the AHL. That's over a point per game is good, but it's the rest of his game and his skating and strength that all are still works in progress. So he's in his third year in the AHL now, and he's still trying to, he had a better call-up the year before with Columbus. He had 8 points in 15. This year, 13 games, 1 point with Columbus. So, I say Zharovsky's better than Del Bel, but not as good as Seneca. But similar, just a great dangler. All three of these guys, fantastic hands, good vision, can make plays, really good with the puck, and that's Zeroski. But you look at Del Bell Blues and 23 before he makes it, and maybe he never makes it. Well, maybe you kind of you go somewhere in between what Seneca has done and Del Bell Blues, and say like maybe at 21, 22, Zharovsky's ready for full-time employment with the Habs, likely in a third line role. So he's going to need to be good away from the puck. He's going to need to play hard, play, work hard. Not be stuck up, basket hanging, doing that stuff. He's going to have to come back hard. And saw that more so earlier in the year. So I think he can do it, but just part of it will be, I think, is maybe he's running out of gas a little bit because he's a skinny kid. He's still got to put on 20 pounds of muscle. And that's part of the reason why it could be 2 to 3 years before he's ready for a top 9 role at the NHL level with Montreal. With a Montreal team that has a lot of talent in the top 9 now, right? I mean, especially Hage is ahead of him. I don't think there's any doubt about that now. Hage is going to make the Canadiens before Zeroski does. So when you add Hage, if Bolduc turns his game around and is a top 9 guy, if Newhook's a top 9 guy, you add in Doc along with the other 5 in the top group. There's not, there's not going to be a rush. And even if Bolduc doesn't make it, they could obtain another top 9 player. There's not going to be a rush to bring him up, and that's good because I don't think he's going to be ready for a minimum of 2 years. It might be anywhere up to 4 for now. So just like with Reinbacher, folks are going to have to be patient. It's not that this is a good club that's not going to have to rush him. No rushing the Russian in this circumstance. But I love the upside, the offensive upside. I think there's a potential for him to be if all the other parts come together, there's potential for him to be a close to a point per game player someday in the NHL. But there's questions. It's no guarantee. As I explained, the floor is not near. The gap between the floor and the ceiling is pretty high right now, and you'd like to see that close and be a little more certain that he is definitely going to play in the NHL, because he'll figure out that you have to work hard to play in the NHL. You have to be defensively responsible. You can't be overhandling and losing the puck and just kind of lollygagging back. You'll be friggin' benched. You'll be in the minors like that if you play like that. It's just, the NHL is they don't put up with it. So anyway, I get a lot of people say, well, you're pretty, you're overly optimistic with Habs prospects. And I mean, I get it to a certain degree. I do tend to be overly optimistic in general on Canadiens prospects. Certainly, KK, I was wrong. I thought he was going to be a second line NHL center, and it didn't hasn't transpired, and doesn't look like it'll ever transpire. But I mean, I think I had good reason to like Caulfield, Hudson, Slav, Kapanen, uh, Demidov. I was optimistic about those guys, and I think time has shown it was for good reason. Uh, Hage, at the start of the year, I think I was hard on him and said that there's questions there, and he's going to have to address them. And I've liked what he's done in that regard. Like in in November, I liked Zeroski more than Hage, and now it's more like this: Hage more than Zeroski, mostly because his floor has risen a fair bit with me. I think Hage is a can't miss top 9 and a good bet to be a top 6 guy in the NHL and perhaps even at center. Now, Zeroski, I don't see. In the fall, I when he was playing some center and I thought competing harder. I thought maybe he could be a center down the road, but you know, that's I'm less I'm less optimistic about that now. I think it's winger for him, and maybe a top 6 winger. Maybe if not, then he'll need to round out his game to play with the Habs. And there's always a possibility he's a top 6 forward on another team if he ends up getting traded down the road. Like, I wouldn't discount it because I don't know that he's the ideal guy to fit into the Canadiens' top 9 in a couple of years. I think that they might need more of a physical 2-way big skilled player as opposed to just a skilled player. But way too early to. I'm just saying that it's not. For me, it's no guarantee that he'll be in Montreal's top 9 for the next 3 years. In part because of him and needing to get stronger and faster and more competitive, and in part because the Canadiens just are really, really strong and don't necessarily need his type of player in that role over the next 2 to 3 years, anyways, until the roster changes. So that's my take on Zeroski right now. I like his upside. I really think that there needs to be some progression there. I think a good off season is paramount for him. Get stronger, get faster, work hard. I don't know if there's any possibility, any way of getting him over to North America in the off season. That it would be nice, but some hands-on training with him, right? But that's probably not going to happen, and we just got to hope that Zeroski gets good, works hard, doesn't go vacation in Dubai or anything like that, and puts in the necessary work that he's going to need to put on the right muscle, work on his skating, lower body, and come back next year as stronger and better than this year. He may be, like I say, maybe running out of gas a little bit. 2 years ago, he was playing in the MHL, and now he's full KHL schedule, and it might be catching up to them a little bit. All right, let's get to sponsor here. Logs End, Yvan Cornway. You know him, you love him. 10-time Stanley Cup winner, Hall of Famer. He got his flooring from logsend.com. They take logs out of the Ottawa River, make them into beautiful flooring. They also have, in addition to the lumber, the logs that they take out of the Ottawa River, they also have all types of hardwood. Chris Phillips, Chris Neal, Michael Blunden, former Montreal Canadian, Gary Galley, they've all got their floors done from Logs End. They have great installers. They have great, great sales team. Give them a holler or contact them at logsend.com. If you go to the website and like what you see, tell them Grant sent you, and they will look after your needs. All right, let's get to some comments here. We're not getting. We have a fair amount of people here, but folks aren't chiming in too much yet. Drum Dude says, Mr. McCagg, that's me. Hi, Grant. Watch the Canada-U.S. game. The U.S. is dominant compared to our women. Appears that the USV is much more like our Habs are wanting to play fast D and quick transition. Thoughts? Well, that Harvey girl, the female Doug Harvey, she's really good. Yeah, the U.S. looks like they're going to win gold this year in the women's side, but again, Canada has beaten U.S. teams that were better than them before. Let's hope they can, when it counts and games on the line. Debia can play better in nets too. That first one she let in, that was stoppable. She doesn't normally let in those. And then the one that was kind of pushed in, you have those two back, maybe it's a different game, right? It's kind of tough when you get behind 3-0, then you start to kind of, you push maybe a bit too aggressively offensively, and then there's breakdowns in your own end. But certainly US was the way better team today, and Canada will have to be way better if they face them again down the road. The girls definitely missed Poulon out there, but the U.S. still might have been too much for them. Oh, obviously, yes. Alex McLean, how are you tonight, Grant? Alex, I am fine. Boyd Bragg, hey, Boyd. Fairly new name in here. Welcome to the best Habs community that there is. It'll be a great experience for Cappy. Yes, it will. Yeah, whether he plays a little, a lot, not at all, doesn't matter. It's going to be a great experience for him. He'll come back from it a better player and a better human being. Poulin will not turn this around. It'll be silver, although one can hope. May not even be silver. There's other teams are catching up. They'll have to if they play like they did tonight in the elimination game, they may not be playing for a medal or playing for gold. So, but yeah, hopefully they do make the final. And if they do, it'll likely be against U.S. and hopefully they can prevail. Hope Slav lights it up too, unless they're playing us. Yeah, well, I mean, beat them 5-3 and Slav get a hat trick. That'd be okay. I hope they can come back, Grant. Gonna have to reach deep. Yes. Dan Hab. Hey, Dan. Hey, Grant, wouldn't it be nice to see Suzuki with Crosby on the line? Yeah, it would. I wouldn't mind seeing him with McDavid. Although if he ends up playing with McKinnon, I don't have an issue with that either. No matter who he's going to be playing with really good players, regardless. I hope these speed bumps are just temporary with Zeroski, Grant. Yeah, I think so. But I also think, we've been maybe overhyping him a little bit, and you're just trying to bring us back to reality a little bit here, and just slow down. He's not ready to, he's not the savior. He's not going to jump into the lineup next April and light things up. I think he's gonna need time. But everything comes together. Canadians got themselves another dandy prospect. I do believe our guys will kick butt against the USA. In my opinion, picking Matthews as captain is bust. And picking JT Miller, who would ruin 2 teams in the last 12 months, is a mystery. Go Canada, go. Yeah, Austin Matthews as a captain, right? You look back. I did get a screenshot. I never used it. Just a screenshot of Matthews and his playoff exploits. Like, it's not very impressive. Won 1 series since his draft year, basically, right? And that's with a lot of teams that were like, even in his draft year. That's why I ended up having Line ahead of him. His draft year, he stepped up big when it counted, and Matthews didn't. Like, he was in the Swiss League, and they were a first-place team, and they got swept the first round of the playoffs. Does that sound familiar? It's like last year, 108-point team, and then Gonzo. Mind you, last year was probably their best showing. They actually almost beat. They're the team that came closest to beating Florida, so I'll give them that, but they didn't. And we saw how much of a leader he wasn't in that Habs series, right? Habs down 3-1, won 3 straight. Where was he? And I mean, he was not very good in that. I guess I didn't end up saving it, but people know he just hasn't. He doesn't show up in the big games as usual, big series. But I thought he was average in that 4 Nations showdown face-off last year, and then he turned over the puck in the important moment in overtime in the gold medal game. It was him that made the big mistake. So you give him the captaincy again? Anyway, I don't know how important it is on who gets the captaincy, but it just goes to show the difference in leadership in the 2 clubs when you got Sidney Crosby, who has done everything, won everything, you name it, he's won it, versus the guy that never has won anything since, I don't know. I think he won something in junior the year before his draft year. That was the last time. The good news is that he's still young. He may not turn out to be like Demidov. Oh, he's not a Demidov clone. I didn't like that. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a lazy description, just saying, oh, well, he's a clone. Clone means that he's exactly like him, and there's just a pile of differences. Like, He's lankier. He's taller, lankier, not nearly as strong, not nearly as compact, nowhere near as competitive as Demidov. Demidov is just, and you've seen it this year, just a hound, a puck hound, and wins a lot of battles. Zeroski doesn't win a lot of battles. He doesn't battle very hard. He's a lot weaker than Demidov at the same age. Not nearly as quick. Doesn't have that, that lateral agility, that the stop on the die, all that stuff that Demidov has. Passes very well, but still not quite at the same level as Demidov. Same thing with the shot. It's good, but not Demidov level. I don't see him being as good as Demidov, but he could be a really good, exciting secondary piece on a good team. Give him another year in the KHL. He may pleasantly surprise us. Well, he's pleasantly surprised us this year, right? But when you're not overly physical and competitive, it doesn't normally come later, right? Like, I don't think we can ever expect him to be to have the competitive fire that Lane Hudson or Demidov has, or Slav. Like, it's probably not something you can ever expect, but it can get better. It can, because we've seen earlier in the year that he can work harder and care more than he is right now. Maybe a slump, yeah, and I expect the people are going to be excusing him, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not writing him off by any means. I'm just stating what I'm seeing and what he needs to work on, and he's by no means a sure thing. The floor is a question. The floor isn't that high. And hey, it's a skilled Russian player. Like, it was the same thing with Michkov, and we're seeing that now, right? There's Michkov, as talented as he is, there's still some question there. There's still some things to do. He's not playing in a talented roster as Demidov last year. Again, we are coming up with that's right, but that's also, it also means that he gets better opportunity than Demidov did. Remember Demidov, the games when he was playing, wasn't playing at all and was on the fourth line, and all of that stuff. It wasn't because he wasn't competing. Anyway. Hey, Grant, watched a YouTube video a few days ago, and the author said Nashville was poised to take AZ at pick 35. As soon as they saw Montreal trade up to get pick 34, they knew they lost out. True? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't a fly on the wall in Nashville's draft room, but I'm sure. I personally know several NHL scouts that had Zeroski ranked in their first round and thought that he was a first round guy. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there were teams picking 35 to 40 that thought, okay, like, because they saw what I saw, right? They saw the skill. Like, I mean, I posted videos last year. Some of the stick handling just blew you away, right? But they also saw that there were holes in his game, and that the floor was what would be, there would have to be improvements on his skating, on his strength, on his compete, his physicality, his overhandling of the puck and all that. So that's why he dropped to the second round. Like everybody scouted him. It wasn't like, you know, the Canadiens were the only team that liked him. Everyone was aware. You could see it on video, like, you know, that he was a skilled player. It's just there were the Russian factor, the fact that, you know, these are Russian traits with a lot of players, that the things that his weaknesses. And we've seen talented Russian players before that didn't live up to their skill level when they came to the NHL because they had to adapt their games, and they're not always willing to do that. So that's why he dropped to the second round, not because teams didn't. But, you know, I mean, we've seen it with teams will say, well, yeah, I like the skill, but there's enough question marks that I'm not comfortable taking him until the second round. But you can be sure that probably every team in the league would have at some point, if he was available between 33 and 63, they would have stepped up to take him because it, you know, because of the upside there, right? Great clips. That was a bit disturbing. Hopefully this isn't a Josh Hosang thing where he's a magician with the puck and nothing else. Way too early to tell, but we'll be on the brass radar for sure. Yeah. Hey, you can't just ignore it, right? It's he can't play. He's like, there can't be games if he plays a game like that in the NHL. You know, he'll be sitting in the stands or going down to the AHL. It just, that wasn't an acceptable effort. It wasn't an acceptable game on his part. I wouldn't be surprised if he was benched the next game in, you know, the KHL. We'll see. But then, you know, he goes to the All-Star thing the next thing, and 3 assists in a game with no checking, and who knows, you know. Michkov seems that way. That's why his coach is not impressed. Yeah, well, unfortunately, saw a little bit of Michkov in that game. Again, I haven't seen it. This isn't something that I keep seeing over and over again. So hopefully it's you know, it's not going to be prevalent in the second half of the year here. This makes Hage even more untouchable for me. Yeah. Well, you know, after watching that, and if the Canadiens, you know, got I don't know, like let's say a Robert Thomas or whatever, and Zeroski needed to be part of that. Well, I know damn well over the next 6 years that Robert Thomas will be in your top 6, right? I don't know that Alex Zharovsky over the next 6 years will be in your top 6. And if he is, it may not be for 4 years. So would it be the end of the world if Zeroski was part of a package that, you know, Zeroski, Engstrom in the first or something to get Robert Thomas? I wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world to me because you don't know. There's question there with Zeroski, you know. Aren't 18-year-olds in men's league allowed to hit the wall? Yeah, see, you're allowed to hit the wall, but what we saw in those videos, Sandro was not hitting a wall. It was laziness, right? And not trying and not competing. That's not hitting a wall. That's, you know, that's more this than the physical end of things. So there is some concern there. And again, I expect people that, you know, he's the hyped guy, right? People don't want to no, I don't want to hear this. Like just like with Shane Wright, whenever I started to be critical of it, oh no, no, sorry, but it's just, yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know, you, uh, there's work to be done there. If some bad habits are setting in, there's plenty of time to right the ship. Oh, absolutely. Maturity and proper life guidance may turn them around. Another comparable based on those clips only, Alexander Semin. Yeah, yeah, a little bit. Even Kuznetsov a little bit. He can be Matvey Gredin, I would be happy. Yeah, well, let's not, what, he's had a couple of good games or whatever. Uh, yeah, well, the two potential sponsors, one didn't get back to me, the other, I don't think. I had somebody get in touch with me last night, and it looks like it may not be feasible for him being located in Manitoba. I do have some loyal Manitobans, but certainly isn't my main audience. Anyway, back to the drawing board with the potential sponsors. By the way, if you know anyone that might be interested in sponsor, I'm looking for a Habs prospect, someone to sponsor the Habs prospect of the week. Not a lot of money. Also, the draft prospect of the week, and in general, just like Logs End, someone that that can be a regular sponsor. Get your logo down here along the bottom. Have a spiel every podcast. My what I'm asking is like half of what every all of the research I've done tells me I should be looking for double of what I'm asking. So it's a unique advertising opportunity for people. Get in touch with me if you may be interested or know somebody that may be interested in sponsoring the podcast. It'd be great. Especially lower body strength. He skates bent down at the waist. Yeah, I know. Doesn't get his legs underneath his center mass. Yeah. Yeah, like he's carrying a piano on his back. Yeah. No, there's definitely work to be done. And I mean, you see it, like NHL scout told me, who was at the combine of, I called it last year, the Russian combine, said he looked like he looked 15 years old, skinny, no muscle definition whatsoever. So they're, it's catching up with him now, the grind of the KHL season to a certain degree, and he's going to have to get stronger. And it's not going to take 1 year. It'll be maybe 3 years, maybe 4, but I have faith in Montreal's development team, and when he does get over here, hopefully at the end of next year, then work with him for a couple of years, get him rounded into shape, and he could be a very good one, folks. The main thing with Zeroski is that the potential is there, right? If everything comes together, he trains, he gets that extra weight on, he competes harder as he gets stronger. The skating comes, he could be a hell of an NHLer, and that's the main thing, that he's got really high ceiling. We were getting the other side of the medal today. Info was mentioning rich KHL teams wanted to buy his contract from NUFA. Yeah. What do you mean the other side of the medal? Yeah. Well, you know, um, that'd be kind of cool if he could play on a better team on the other in the other division next year, because it would be basically it'd be an increment, a step up, right? A level each year. Last year, MHL, a bit of KHL. This year, KHL, poor division. Next year, top KHL division. Year after, AHL. And then you see after that, right? Right. You mentioned you had concerns on his work ethic for some time. As I said, I think there's still great potential here. Oh, yeah. But he'll need 2 years for it to come together. Yeah. Really hope he improves. We'd love to solve a lot of our problems in-house, i.e. Doc on the top line, Cappy keeps improving, etc. Yep, good point. Great review as usual, Grant. Don't rush the Russian. Makes sense. Thank you. Oh, here's Steve Farrell. Frankie, you're back. Hey, buddy. When I was saying, "Are you nuts?" there yesterday, I was trying to be funny because you had said, "Are you nuts?" to me. So I hope you didn't. I think you kind of took it the wrong way, but anyway, I wasn't meaning to be condescending. I'm glad you're back. What's going on with Zach Bolduc, Grant? In St. Louis, he was scoring big goals. Yeah. He played third, fourth line in St. Louis last year, but he got most of them on the power play. It still wasn't like great 5-on-5 in the playoffs. He was just okay. He ended up being like having the least amount of ice time of any St. Louis forward last year in the playoffs. So I think we got a little bit fooled by looking at his goal numbers, because like 5-on-5, he was just okay last year. And I think that's why St. Louis thought, he's expendable. What they probably saw is what we're seeing is just he's not a real creative east-west dangler, stick handler, visionary type player, right? It's going to have to be skate hard, check hard, compete hard, hit, go to the scoring areas, and use that good shot to effectiveness. He doesn't look like a top six guy. He looks like a bottom six, but I still like his potential to be a third liner, a 20 to 25 goal scoring third liner. You can hope that hits and competes. That'd be a good piece. I'm questioning more of the coaching staff than the players on the women's side. Yeah. Corey Pronman. Oh, well. I don't put a lot of stock on that, Sandro. I ranked him 8th overall in a redraft, for what it's worth. I did one, we did one, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I had him 8th. If I were to do it again today, I probably wouldn't have him top 10, but close. Just, there's more question about the floor than there was for me at that time. Simon said there last time he was on, he had him top 5 in a redraft. So, but again, he even had him ahead of Kindle. Like, you just can't. Kindle's freaking already playing in the NHL, already producing, already very good. His floor is here and Zeroski's is down here. upside wise, well, maybe Zeroski's a little higher than Kindle, but you gotta combine the floor and the ceiling, right? And when you do that, there's just no way that I can, uh, you know, honestly say, oh yeah, I would pick Zeroski ahead of Kindle today because you already know that you got a friggin' well, I think Kindle's a top 6 guy in Pittsburgh already as an 18-year-old. So you know you can't you can't rank Zeroski with those question marks ahead of Kindle. Not at least I can't at this point anyway. Nick scoring the golden goal would be perfect. Ooh, yeah. Suzuki's a real captain compared to Austin. I agree. No leadership qualities. No, we don't have a lot of Leaf fans tuning in here. Matthews has absolutely no leadership qualities. USA has so many others who can wear the C. Yeah, I agree. Lots of KHL superstars couldn't make it in the NHL, so let's see what the future holds for them. Well, Shipachev, remember him? Led the KHL every year in scoring, came over, wouldn't check his hat. Vegas had a look and said, okay, back to the KHL with you. We're shipping you back over, Shipachev. If Corey Perry were a few years younger, he'd be perfect with Suzuki Caulfield. Yeah. Slump when you work hard but can't score is one thing, but a slump because you're not working hard isn't good news. Right. No. Descriptive music. I just want to send a big thank you for your segment on SI last week. That was awesome. I was surfing around for Infernum the day prior. Your assessment made my day. Yeah. Well, he's exactly what the Canadiens could use, boy. Watch him. Maybe I got a little spoiled by that, watching him and then watching Zeroski. Ooh, give me this kid. This is a guy that I could plug it. I could see in Montreal's top 9 perfectly, right? He's now a top 10 according to most scouts. He dropped because nobody has inside info in Russia. No, that's not. No. Inside info. Well, based on what I just showed you, the inside info is that he's not very good away from the puck. No. Everyone saw, like I was explaining, Caesar. Everyone saw the skill. It's the away from the puck part. It's until the NHL only has one net. They aren't playing with 2 nets. You got to be able to play away from the puck. You got to compete. You got to work hard. You can't dangle and lose the puck and then oh well. You can't do that. You'll be in Siberia within a month. No. That's and this he's now a top 10 according to most scouts. Are you talking about NHL scouts? Because those are the only scouts that matter, Caesar. Doesn't matter that Corey Pronman has him top 10. Doesn't matter that Simo has him top 5. Doesn't matter that I had him top 8 in a redraft 3 months ago, but would change my mind now. Doesn't matter. We're not NHL management. We're not NHL scouts. We're not, I was an NHL scout, but we're not NHL coaches. There's no Bobby McKenzie didn't poll 20 NHL scouts and say, so is Zeroski top 10 now? Doesn't matter what an independent scout says in a redraft 8 months later when they've seen the guy 2 or 3 times, seen every prospect 2 or 3 times, and come up with a redraft. How accurate is that, right? It's just discussion points. It means nothing. There I am not giving myself credit, but hey, come on. If we get Thomas, we would have Suzuki and the player in the entire league that plays the closest to Susie's game. Yeah, I know, eh? What a 1-2 punch that would be. Regarding other side of the medal, I meant we got hyped by the news stating he was great. Oh, okay, you have a more down-to-earth vision on this. Thank you, Francois. Beers on me if ever you're in Stittsville. Oh, jeez. I was in Stittsville last night. The young lad works at the LCBO in Stittsville. I'm not far from Stittsville at all, Frankie. Careful, I might take you up on that offer. Once Zeroski gets under the instruction of the Habs development team, he'll improve. Yeah, exactly. As I noted. Bringing Ethan Witten back, eh? I profiled him last year at one point on DraftCast, Recruits DraftCast, and said, this kid's pretty good. It just his size was going to hurt him, but ended up being a good pick for whoever took him. Do you think the Eklund kid that the Islanders picked with one of Montreal's picks is substantially better than Zharovsky? I don't know about that. We'll see. He competes harder than Zeroski, but he's not as skilled, not as big. Doesn't have his puck skills, but certainly from a competitive standpoint, I would say, yeah. I think Zeroski's certainly got more upside than Eklund, but Eklund's one of those kids who's more developed. He's going to get to the NHL sooner than Zharovsky, but 3 years down the road, Zharovsky might be better than Eklund type thing. As far as Bolduc goes, this could be another project for MSL. Absolutely. Yeah. I hear Tocchet loves no grit Russian trade, as to the Flyers. Loves. Daniel, that one I don't quite, can't quite comprehend that one. You might want to explain a little further. Okay, I seem to have gotten caught up here. Any news out of Montreal today? I didn't see anything. No big news. Team Canada players were on an escalator. That was about the biggest news. Wasn't did they open the practice today? Yeah, well, I thought you were being sarcastic, but I still don't quite understand. Trade to Arizona? Like AZ? No great Russian S. Okay. I think I get it. All right. Well, not a lot of people wanted to. We've had like 199 people. Nobody on X. which is kind of strange. Sorry for the spelling. I'm drinking Budweiser. All right. I didn't know you could get drunk on Budweiser. Small injury for Fowler will miss the All-Star game. Oh, well. Darren. I can't, I don't watch All-Star games anymore. They don't, okay, now I get with Danielle. There you go. Warren Zevon, VV. Cheers. You think Habs are going to trade Laine without giving him a chance on the first line? He's a Shark brother. I think he deserves a tryout. Hey, if you, Warren, if you saw my podcast a couple of weeks ago, I would give Laine a shot on the first line. I wasn't averse to it, that's for sure. I don't know. Because they didn't activate him and he looked like he was ready, I don't know. There's only like 6 games between now and that doesn't give much opportunity for an audition, does it? I'm less optimistic that it's going to happen now. And I think Doc coming in and playing as well as he did, Warren, I think at those last couple of games with Suzuki and Caulfield, ideally he's the better fit for those two anyways, just because of the better defense and better skater, more physical than Laine. I think, Laine's defensive game against the top line is something that is in question with people. And ideally, if Doc is on his game and playing well, he's probably a better fit for Caulfield and Suzuki, because you need a corner man. You need a guy to dig the puck out, I believe. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll be on the first line or not. It's looking less likely. Wouldn't mind seeing it. But for now, Doc, I wouldn't mind Doc getting a full opportunity as their first line winger either. So, do Habs have anyone in Laval to replace Anderson when his contract expires? Well, Thorpe, Davidson, and Jacky are the 3 that I'd say might possibly replace him down the road. Like the closest, as far as I think similar player goes, would be Florian. I like Doc uninjured on the first line. Yeah. Then Ray. I see Hage on the first line eventually, possibly. Yeah. We'll see with Doc. Hage is, showing a more physical side to his game, battling, winning puck battles in the corners and stuff. So, I mean, he brings qualities that would work on the top line if he got that opportunity at some point. Again, Doc, if Doc ever reaches his potential, he's the ideal guy on that top line, in my opinion. Daniel, I'm glad that you took time out from your sipping your fine Budweiser there to send me $1.99. Thank you very much. Every donation here is highly appreciative. Considering that sponsors aren't coming through for me here right yet, I'm still banking on some of your support. And Daniel, you've been steady with it. Murray, I appreciated your contribution the other day, buddy. And of course, Donnie McCaskill and everybody else, Mark and Sheldon and everybody that's just been so generous, helping me keep her rolling here, keeping the wolves at bay, as they say. I would like to see the Habs re-sign Anderson 2-year contract. Yeah? Well, we'll see. We'll see when the time comes. Some days I feel like, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Other days I think, oh. I wonder what Suzuki will say to Hughes at the trade deadline this year, says Donnie Richardson. Yeah, I don't think he's going to say too much. A little different situation this year. Of course, a year older, they're in a better. They're they're in the playoffs. It's not. There's not a bunch of UFAs to be, right? So it's not like you can say, "Oh well, don't go trade guys under contract," like, right? I don't expect he's going to say anything this year because I think he knows that they're going to probably try to add. Who's the next Oliver Kapanen, underrated Habs prospect that will make mostly unexpected noise in the next 2 years? Well, there may not be one. They don't necessarily come along every every 2 years. Underrated that will make the team. I think the only guys that will make the team are players that aren't underrated, that are pretty highly regarded. Canadians aren't in a position now that they're so deep that there's not really a spot for an underrated guy to come in and steal, Like I'd like to say Jared Davidson, but it's unlikely. I don't think Thorpe will be ready for the next couple of years. Is Jack Eye underrated? He might maybe grab a spot in the next 2 years, but I don't think that there's a Kapanen per se who, well, it wasn't underrated by me, but that in general was underrated, that will come in and really impress. I will drink 1 beer less a day and donate more. Oh, okay. Well, don't, maybe it's a good thing to drink 1 less beer. I don't know. Don't change your habits on my behalf, sir. Don't worry about it. As long as the Habs stay away from Kadri, I'll be happy. Yeah, says Mirage on Ice. Yes. All right, we've got 94. Oh, back down to 91. Be nice to get over 100 here on the HabsCast. If you're watching on X, hop on over. Let's get it over 100 here. We're kind of dangling in between 91 and 94. Need 100. I like to have triple figures. People tuning in on the YouTube, join the Habs community here, and hit that like button, subscribe button, please. Keep keep YouTube sending me some cash here. They're still my main revenue source right now. Is YouTube. So the more people that tune in on YouTube, the more money I make. So you got to be too careful not to mess the room and mess up the lines with a bad trade. Yes. Would you ever consider playing Arbor as a fourth liner or traded? But if so, to a Western team. I think they keep Arbor as the seventh guy on defense. Keep developing on defense. He's not a bad defenseman. Keep him around. Great character guy. Good. Doesn't doesn't complain if he's out of the lineup. Just a great, really well liked, good teammate. Great guy to back up, when he does play. Oh my goodness. Aboard the Thailand Express. Hey? Watching from Bangkok. Don Manolo. Wow. Hey, Don. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. That's great. And I keep, I'm running a Rush song through my head. Aboard the Thailand Express. Besides the high profile prospects, who else could be a surprise in the next 2 to 5 years? It's kind of like a similar question to what I just got. I don't know. A surprise. Daniel, I think it's probably like, I don't know, noon in Bangkok or something like that. It's not like it's the middle of the night there. So it's like all those guys are possibilities to be surprised, I guess you could say. Like I already mentioned, Jack Eye. They all have an opportunity to make an impact. Okay, so it's 12 hours exactly. Okay, I knew it was in and around 12 somewhere. Because Australia, I think, is 14, and you're not that kind of in that, not too far off the time zones there. So basically 12 hours, exactly 12 hours difference. Right on, Don. You get to see games there. Hockey night in Bangkok. Grant, do you think the Habs move Newhook because the market is so small and turn him into a more physical bottom six player? The Habs turn him into a more physical bottom six player? Or move Newhook? I'm a little confused by this. Do I think that they move Newhook to another team or move him? Like he already is playing a bottom six role with the Habs, so they wouldn't be moving him into a bottom six role. You're talking about the other team would turn him into a more physical player, the team that he gets moved to. You might want to clarify your post there, Kyle. It's a bit misleading. 9:30 in the BKK. That's pretty cool. By the way, let us know where you're from. I think it's pretty cool. We've had people Glasgow, Scotland, Charles. Although I don't see him today, he's probably not up in the middle of the night tonight. Francois, who is your Hart winner this year? A little early to be get back to me at the end of the regular season, Francois. Oh, I know that, Frankie. I know where you are. You think what he meant? Trade him for a more physical bottom line player. The Habs trade for a player that they turn into a bottom six. That doesn't make. I don't think that's what he meant, Daniel. If they trade him, it'll be for a bottom six player that's physical, not one that they turn into a physical player. You don't turn somebody into a physical player. He's playing. Newhook has already been turned into a more physical bottom six player by the Habs. That was what his role was before he got injured. He was playing the third line. He was playing more physical, killing penalties, forechecking harder. So I don't think they need to turn him into anything. They just need him to keep playing the way he was playing. Do I think they're going to trade him? No, I don't think they're going to trade him. And I think I understand what you're saying now. If they don't make a trade, do they try to turn Newhook into a more physical bottom six player? I think they already were doing that before his injury, and that he was not only was he doing that, but he was also producing more. He was playing really well. He could be a really impactful third line player. He's only just going into his prime now. I really liked his game start of the year. Oh, okay. You live in Greece, visiting Bangkok. Well, that's pretty cool. Neil, watching from Alberta. Oh, we're down to 80. I guess we're not going to hit 100 here, right? Huh. Thought there'd be more. No hockey on. I thought there'd be more folks wanting to see what I had to say about Zeroski. Hey, Grant, watching from Alberta. What do you see Zeroski's floor and ceiling? Oh no, his floor is KHL, not making the NHL. His ceiling would be, I guess, first line, but more second line, I think. Move Newhook somewhere and recoup assets that we can use to trade for a more physical bottom six. Oh, certainly didn't come across that way. Move Newhooks and recoup assets. Maybe Newhook's a trade option. I think they're more likely to go with. Don't forget, it was like Kent Hughes' first trade, right? I mean, you always remember your first, right? There's an attachment there. Newhook, the new fee, the character guy, the guy that's been asked to change his game and has. He's been playing physical. And that speed dimension is good on the third line. I think they're looking. They're more apt to. to try to pick up a physical bottom six guy, they're more apt to trade, Engstrom, Struble, Beck, draft picks than they would be, maybe Evans, than they would be to trade Newhook, I think. But mind you, Newhook would fetch more, I suppose, than maybe a couple of those guys anyway. From Tennessee, George C. I'm a longtime Canadiens fan from Tennessee. Wow. Imagine a third forward line composed of Newhook, Hage, Zeroski. What speed and playmaking. Yeah. Good speed from Newhook. Decent speed from Hage. Not so much from Zeroski, and no playmaker from Newhook, but Hage and Zeroski definitely good playmakers. I don't see a lot of grit, physicality there. I don't see a killer defensive third line, but there would be offensive potential there for sure, George. And I think that's pretty cool that we got someone from Tennessee. Please come to Boston. Oh, songs keep going through my head. Number one fan of the man from Tennessee. Watching from Mexico. Pedro. Not much on TV as the Olympics till I get home. Oh, no way. Mr. Feelgood. Newhook is the key to the PK moving forward with his speed. Him and Anderson together would make a solid duo. Yeah, maybe. Is Beck good enough to take over the forward line center eventually? Maybe. I'm not counting Beck out. Hey, Grant from Southern Alberta, living in Calgary. Could you provide a comparable for Zeroski currently in NHL? Well, he may have missed the start, frankly. I say a cross between Luca Del Bel Belouz and Seneca, somewhere in between those two. Del Bel's basically still an AHLer. Seneca is one of the best rookies in the league, but not as good as Seneca. A little better than Del Bel Belouz. They're both very good stick handlers. Lanky, long sticks, hard to get the puck from. Good playmaking abilities. How do you make a donation? I'm a dinosaur, pretty much computer illiterate. What's my full name and address? Well, I'm not going to be giving my address on here, Warren. Like, you could always make an Interac. You could send some money by Interac if you do that. As far as a donation on here, if you look at the chat, there's a $sign beside the chat thing. You press on that and you can make a donation that way. I think you have to do it by a card of some sort, but there's your two options that I'm aware of. Do I accept Bitcoin? I do not. Interact transfers, sure. Bitcoin, no. 911 Safe Street, Florida. Yeah. No, that's not something that I'm posting online is my address. You can email me at that the address I just put down if you wanted to make an Interact transfer. Say hi, and I can give you my email for Interact if you're so inclined to do something like that. And as I say, you can also you press the beside the chat. I think there's a $sign button. You press on that, and you can send me a donation on YouTube as well. Those are your two options. Zeroski could be a 10th overall pick. Well, I don't put a lot of, I don't even like, I did it in response to seeing some other, some things. But at this point, like a redraft is just completely, you can look at it in 4 years and say, wow, that sucked, right? It's all over the place. It doesn't really matter. 8 months after a draft, it doesn't matter what you would do in a redraft because things will be completely different in 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, I'd say somewhere 10 to 15 in a redraft today. But, 2 months ago, it was top 8 for me. 3 months from now, it might be 20th. A year from now, it might be top 5. It'll bounce back and forth all over the place. Anyone know what Tom Kostopoulos is up to these days? Playing in the Quebec Senior League. Mr. Feel Good. Would Reinbacher fill the same role that Peter Angelo did in his cup-winning teams? Yeah, there's a bit of FP in him, I would say. Some similarities there. I don't know that he'll be as good as Pietrangelo, but who is, was a hell of a defenseman in his peak. Put up decent stats. I don't know that Reinbacher will match his offensive stats, but you never know. There is certainly some comparables there. And Jacques Rainville. Okay, folks, you got any more questions for me? I guess I'll wrap this up pretty soon. I got this is Coach Mark. By the way, Coach Mark, I really prefer people coming over to the YouTube channel. If you could be so kind as to join us there, that would be much appreciated. Okay, I'll try. Thanks. Hopefully, I'll figure it out. Yeah, someone might be able to guide you a little bit. Jacques, just started watching your show. Love it. Hey, thank you, Jacques. If you there's not a love button there, but love button. Hit the like button if you love it. every bit helps. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, you hit the like button. Good man. Thank you, Jacques. Great show as always. Thanks. Hey, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the donation. You're a steady contributor, and I appreciate it. How much do you see the new goalie coach helping Delvish and Monty? Yeah. I guess the young lad's home. We'll wrap it up fairly soon. He had a long day at work today. I think he'll help Neil. I think he'll help the goalie coach quite a bit. You can get me a mattress at a reduced cost. Well, you got to go talk to Dobish there, Frankie. Yeah, I think Neil, the new goalie coach will help Dobish and Monty quite a bit. I mean, he already did, right? He was Doby's coach for 2 years, and Dobish had nothing but great words to say about him. And when Monty was down in Laval, he came back and he was looking good, and so far may have had his best game, the last one he played, so of the year. So hey, I think it was a great move to get him back in the fold and promote him, and I think he'll do an outstanding job with the Canadiens goalies. What donation is from Gretzky? Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. So we have people from Stittsville, Bangkok. It's close to Stittsville, as far away as Bangkok, via Greece, Tennessee, Albertans, couple Albertans, Winnipeggers. It's all pretty cool. I think that's cool. All right, folks. I guess I'll wrap it up. We're not getting any more questions here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to do a show after. I'm going to do a show after the game on Thursday. Liam might be doing a show tomorrow. I got to talk to him about that. Coke needs to sponsor the show. I know, eh? Would you give up a top prospect and first rounder if Adam Lowry became available? Can't see Lowry becoming available, but I'd give up a first and a decent prospect, probably, for Lowry. He'd be a perfect addition, that's for sure. I just don't see Winnipeg dealing him. Like, would I give up Engstrom and a first? Probably, because I think Lowry would be an absolute perfect fit as a Canadiens third line center. Whew. Absolutely. And you would have to pay a good price because there'd be a lot of teams, a lot of playoff teams saying, yeah, Give me that guy. Gimme. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We're only at 63. Right now, we're waning, so I'll wrap it up. And I appreciate it. Have a good night. Probably do something tomorrow. And thanks for everything. Have a good night. Go Canada, go. Bye for now.